The newest entry in the Silent Hill series, Silent Hill Townfall, is just under a month away from releasing, and we just got another new story trailer at Gamescom, along with a large amount of gameplay footage, which all has me very excited for this game to release. So today, I'll be deep diving into both its new trailer and gameplay footage. This new trailer reveals both the cast of the game, along with a very new element of horror for the franchise as a whole. And as for the gameplay footage we received, this really shows Silent Hill Townfall's true colours, and I mean that in a good way. So without any further delay, let me start this video off with Silent Hill Townfall's cast reveal trailer. Now this trailer barely runs a minute long, but there is a very few notable things crammed into just these 60 seconds. Firstly, the trailer opens with a phone booth being shown. On said phone booth, the 9 red squares from Silent Hill 2 can be seen, which I think is more than just a cute reference, as this is actually the 3rd time it has been referenced or seen in this game. Perhaps it is being used here for a similar purpose like Silent Hill 2. Simon is then seen using this phone booth to contact a new character seen within this trailer. This man has been heard in previous trailers, as he urges Simon to head back to the town of St. Emilia to set things right. We currently do not know what this guy's name is or what his relationship is to Simon, but he is only one of 3 human characters shown so far, so I would assume he is very important to Simon's story. We then get an excellent shot here of Simon in the middle of the road surrounded by fog, and this shot to me has really made Townfall feel more like a Silent Hill game. The man from earlier is revealed to be played by actor Terry O'Quinn, who has previously been seen in Lost and The Walking Dead. This then suddenly jump cuts to show this character with a medical tube sprouting from his mouth, as blood can be seen all over his mouth and torso. I couldn't tell you what this is even related to, but it's a really disturbing frame of the trailer. We next see a new nightmarish creature that Simon will have to face, as this legless humanoid monster rapidly crawls towards Simon and presumably pulls him to the ground in order to attack him. Zoe's actress is revealed to be Kezia Burrows, who has previously worked in games such as Observation, which was made by Silent Hill Townfall's developers. And just like with our new character, there was another rapid and cryptic frame shown of what looks to be a person in a hospital bed fully covered up with what looks to be an operation going on. And our main protagonist, Simon Ordell, is set to be played by Jovan Adepo, who recently was seen in The Odyssey. And what follows this is one of the coolest things I have seen from this game so far, which has also made me a hell of a lot more excited for this game. Simon looks up into the sky to see a giant, otherworldly set of limbs dangling from it. Simon follows and watches in awe as this creature moves across the town, and man oh man, this is such an incredibly cool and unique thing to have in a Silent Hill game. I never even considered otherworldly, almost Lovecraftian type of creatures being possible for a Silent Hill game, and now it's my favourite thing I have seen for this game so far. It's also the most unique thing shown here, and I hope we see more of this type of creature throughout the game. The trailer then ends with Simon cowering in fear as the giant tentacle creature rains down bodies all throughout the town, which left me shocked and confused upon a first watch, and I like that. I'm now confused and pretty freaked out going into release. Everything shown before this trailer, including the gameplay footage I'll get into in a moment, has all been pretty standard levels of horror if you ask me. Nothing so far hasn't been done before in the franchise, but this is something certainly new and I can't wait to see more of. I suppose now, after that brief trailer, we shall dive into the gameplay footage Konami recently posted. There is close to 20 minutes of this footage here, however I'll pick apart key moments, mechanics and areas that I believe are notable. This gameplay footage kicks off by allowing us to soak in the town of St. Emilia's atmosphere. This is the longest amount of uninterrupted footage we have gotten thus far, and I'm really liking how empty and cramped this town feels and looks. The CRTV is used here, and Simon is able to not only use it on enemies, but also to find narrative pieces throughout his journey, as he does here. And this reminds me of how Harry Mason can use his smartphone in Silent Hill Shattered Memories to find remnants of the past. And I assume this will be a common thing we find ourselves doing throughout the game. We next enter a house, which we can learn through its mail that Zoe Ellis lives here, who is a very important person to Simon. Just as we enter this house, again we see the 9 red squares I mentioned earlier, but here they're not just a cute little reference, as they appear to be this game's saving icon, which is what leads me to believe that they'll be incorporated some way into the game's story, as it would be really odd for the game's saving icon to be this Easter egg to Silent Hill 2. Through exploring Zoe's house, something I'm pleasantly surprised to see here is how whenever Simon interacts with something or enters a new area, his own thoughts will appear on screen, either reacting to whatever he's looking at or his own surroundings. This is such a survival horror thing, and it will allow us to get a better glimpse into Simon's personality and thought process, which I really like. Something I'm also happy to see here is that the game's inventory menu is pretty cool and stylized, and it features some pretty cool sound effects, as any good Silent Hill menu needs. Something I found very funny was actually this gameplay demo's first main puzzle. As Zoe's house is without power, Simon heads under the stairway to try and restore it, only to be met by this power system which runs using a certain amount of money credit, which has all been used up. A card with money credit will be needed to get the power running again, and I find this funny because this is basically the exact same power system as in my own home. This may just be an Ireland, Scotland and England thing, but I haven't ever seen this featured in any game otherwise, and I find it pretty funny that a Silent Hill puzzle is just my own power system, because just like Simon, I have also struggled to get the power on sometimes. Now needing to get a card with top up on it, Simon's map is updated with the location of a local newsagent, which is essentially a British corner store. And with this, we get a look at the map of St. Amelia, one that I no doubt will open up hundreds of times over the course of my playthrough. Leaving Zoe's house, we see Simon encounter one of these axe-headed enemies. Using the CRTV, he is able to maneuver around this monster before arming himself with a wooden plank, which finally gives us a look at some more melee combat. And well, melee combat here looks like the clunky combat I would expect from a Silent Hill game. All melee weapons here will have a durability meter, which depletes at a pretty quick rate considering Simon's newly acquired wooden plank is half broken after this one encounter. Combat itself also seems pretty one-dimensional. All Simon is able to do is either attack or block enemies. But that's alright, as this game has presented itself as being not very combat intensive, which I think is a good thing. We then get a look at the otherworld of this game, and unlike past entries in the series, Townfall's otherworld will look very different, as the town of St. Amelia becomes coated in this thick red hue, that combined with the fog gives Townfall's otherworld a pretty cool and unique atmosphere and look, which I'll come back to its atmosphere shortly. Some firearm combat is also shown here, and it's as simple as it gets. You point and you shoot, and it seems like enemies will drop after just 2 bullets, but that seems balanced out by ammo seemingly being pretty scarce. And for what it is, I like Townfall's firearm combat. It seems weighty and impactful, and it doesn't look like we'll be just storming through the town, gunning down every enemy we see. One awesome detail I noticed is whenever Simon is in the otherworld, a large portion of his map will appear blacked out and off limits. Going back to guns in Townfall for a second, I like how ammo pickups are found as just individual bullets, which I assume means they won't come in large amounts. A little later on, this nasty door of sorts can be opened, as Simon will need to cut into this square of flesh with a scalpel in order to open the door. And yes, I want more of this uncomfortable, disturbing nature in my Silent Hill games. Further exploring the otherworld, I really like this section where Simon goes through many back gardens all in a row, while using the CRTV to avoid enemies. I mentioned atmosphere in the otherworld earlier, and this specific moment right here I want to bring your attention to, because it hooked me right in. The soundtrack that's backing the otherworld sounds so hostile and aggressive. It also sounds like something larger than life is looming out in the distance, which may actually be the case given what we've seen in the newest trailer. There's also these large metal pipes seen sprouting from the ground, walls and houses, and these are all so nonsensical and random, I sorta love them. Townfall's otherworld seems more and more unique than past entries, and I really dig it. Heading down now into some nearby apartments, and I really like the lighting the otherworld offers, as the thick red hue from outside shines through each of the apartment's windows, while lighting up the area for us. It still reminds the player of the uneasiness they should be feeling right now, as just because you're inside doesn't mean you're safe. The apartments seem really tight and claustrophobic, and the CRTV seems like it'll be your lifeline in navigating safely through Townfall, and I'm super excited to get my hands on it, which this apartment section will conclude the gameplay footage. And this, combined with the new story trailer, has finally and fully sold me on Silent Hill Townfall. Of course, I was most likely going to buy it regardless, for both content creation's sake, but also because I just love Silent Hill. But now, with all of this new footage, I'm actually pretty hyped about it, especially the giant creature in the sky. I so want to know more about this giant monster, as I'm sure you do too. And luckily, we don't have to wait too long either, as this game will officially release on September 24th, which is barely a month away. So I want to ask you now, what you think of Silent Hill Townfall along with this new footage. Are you sold on the game yet? Are you excited? Or are you waiting for reviews and its full launch to jump in? Regardless, I'll be there day one, which video wise you can expect both a first impressions video along with a full in-depth review a little while after launch. So please subscribe to the channel so that you can be around for those videos. I want to thank you so very much now for watching this video, and I'll hopefully see you on my next one very soon. Peace.